Me in.
So, squatting today?
Yes. So, going to talk you through some of the strength aspects that we look at, how to implement that in terms of a cycle, periodization, and then how we focus all of that strength foundation into power, speed, and then obviously golf performance. So, we're going to line up some back squats. We're going to add in some accessory movements first, because that's one of the ways that we work. A lot of asymmetrical movements, a lot of essentially conjugate method, where you're matching methodologies, you're matching different movements. They're all going to help each other. So, some specific words to start out. We're going to hit some pretty heavy back squats. I'm going to hit some numbers today, and then straight after, we're going to hit that power work.
So what's the workout today? Part of the cycle?
Yeah, as I said, so when you're putting a strength cycle together, there needs to be a sequence of reps, how you're going to balance it out, and over time, you're probably going to go from higher reps down to lower reps, increase the weight, and then it's a case of taking that foundation, as I said, over to the power side. So at this point here, this is slightly more towards the end of the cycle. We understand where our percentages are at, we understand what type of output we are looking for, and we have the power in as well. All right, so the strength aspect follows on from the specifics. So essentially that first element is going to be priming the body in terms of balance, stability, a little bit of technical work because you're having to work different patterns. They're going to challenge your positioning, your spine, etc. The back squats themselves, 6x2 at 90%, pretty high volume, but at 90% you should be hitting a good solid reps at that point. All right, it's going to be challenging, but you're going to hit the ground, come out and get out there really strong. Okay, and 90% is always of the lift that you're doing, so that'll be 90% of a 2-rep max. All right, so again, throughout the cycle you start to understand these percentages, you'll know what your lifts are, you can work from there. All right, and then once we've already fired up the muscles, basically great way to train is to then, with that high level of activation, take it down to a slightly lower percentage and add in that power side. All right, so we're going to max up more squats with the box jumps and the med ball slams, because the squats are just priming everything up there. We take the weight down so the speed goes up, and then the box jumps, the slams, that's fast twitch, that's high impact, and the body's already fired up, so it's a great time to program those muscles in and really get powerful.
So it's important to warm up for sure when you're lifting heavy back squats.
Yeah. So, I mean, range of motion is huge, and then obviously taking a joint through that range of motion, you need to make sure it's prepped, ready to go. Something like a squat, obviously hips, glutes, posterior chain, you need everything stacked up where it needs to be stacked so that the body can not only accept the external force and load, but also basically organize itself in the best way to create the most powerful patterns, and therefore lift heavier and create better performance all around. So big focus for me is always glutes, hips, trying to open that up and get as many different movements in there as possible.
Doesn't it? So 6x2 at 140, done?
That felt pretty good. Yeah, man, that's a nice percentage. Allows you to really challenge the body, get everything going, get a little dizzy if you're not careful, and if you're made to talk straight after squatting. But yeah, so you need that strength base, you need that foundation. That's what you can then program into more powerful, explosive movements, because you got stability, you got the strength. Then you start to rein it down, challenge your percentages, add in some more explosive movements, which is what we're going to do now.
It's good.
So that's the power output. As I said before, understanding your strength percentages, putting your body under that kind of stress, essentially fires up the whole system. So your muscles are all fired up, the mind connection, like the neuro connection, is fired up as well. So then obviously with adequate rest as needed, you can then come into something like lighter squats, box jumps, med ball slams. They're all explosive pathways. They're all suboptimal in terms of load, which means that your output can be super fast. And that transition over time, the ability to understand that, replicate that over time with different percentages, different weights, is essentially going to play a big part in terms of how much power you can create coming out of a strength cycle. So, yeah, build strength first, understand how you're going to start to take that over to the best movement patterns possible, but also then into more of a power phase, match the percentages, match the reps, then start to move really fast, start to be powerful, really make sure you're exploding onto the box with the med ball, etc. Those kind of pathways are perfect, all right? And then as you then start to get more towards the season, and you might have small cycles during the season as well, but once you start to get to a point where you're thinking more about performance, we can then actually take the percentages down just a little bit further, hit that periodization, so you got the strength, you got the power, then you got the speed. Once you're working on speed, the body's not really looking at adaptation, it's looking at output. That's where you're gonna be at your best. Start to add that into the technical side, match your body up to your swing, and you're just gonna be better than you've ever been. That is the deal, guys, right? That's how we're gonna train. That's how we program all of our strength protocols within the app, on the website, and it's pretty well proven. All right, I'm better than ever. We got golfers all around the world putting in work and seeing results. So make sure you're next, guys. All right, subscribe, hit the app, let's go.